So we will look together at 8 simple ways how you can relieve stress. But what do I know about stress? Quite a lot, because as a certified nutritionist, I know the detrimental impact of stress on the digestion, absorption of the vitamins and minerals, and elimination of the remaining food. Because when we are under stress, we cannot digest properly. As a body toning and high intensity interval training teacher, I know quite a lot about the chemical and mechanical stress that is happening during the exercise and how important the recovery is. As a meditation and yoga teacher, I know quite a lot how to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, and how to let go all of the negative emotions that doesn't serve. And as a mom, I know all of that because I'm exposed to the mental, emotional, and physical stress, and I have to cope with it and help my children to cope with it too. So let's dive in. What will you learn today? So we will cover all the different types of stress, the impact of the stress on health and well-being, and then I will give you some practical exercises how you can relieve the stress and also some nutritional tips. So first we have to look at what it is stress. So if you look into the dictionary, you will see that stress is a response of our autonomic nervous system that is managing all the functions in our body based on the perception, and that is our perception. So autonomic nervous system, that basically means autopilot. 95% of the tasks that we do per day are on autopilot. When you drive the car, you don't think anymore how you are changing the gears or paying attention around. It's your autopilot doing it all for you. When you are making the coffee in the morning, you don't reflect about it. You actually don't even smell and think about it. No, you do it automatically. And all the tasks that we do are on an autopilot, but also based on the experience. So if we had a negative experience, our brain takes a picture of that danger, the smell that was there, the music that was there, the people that were there, and then stores it in the long-term memory. So if you were, for example, bitten by a dog as a child, you know that the dog that is passing around is not going to bite you. Yet your brain, your subconscious mind might be already sending the signals of the potential danger because that's how the situation was evaluated. Because our brain doesn't make any difference between perceived danger and actual danger. So the chances are that if you had some traumatic experience with the people, with animals, your heart might be pumping, you might feel nervous, stressed, sweating, because every organ of the body is connected to the nervous system. So, do we actually need stress in our life? And the answer is yes, because if we didn't have cortisol and if we were not able to react quickly to the situation or respond something, we might be dead by now. So we need maybe 5 to 10% of the sympathetic nervous system, that fight and flight per day, and the rest we should be relaxing and digesting. That's what it used to be in Paleolithic time, when the hunters were hunting the animals and they would just like go expose themselves to this acute stress, and then they will enjoy the rest of the day. However, nowadays the chances are that you are fighting with the animals or flying away from the danger 24/7. Maybe 40% of your day, maybe 60, maybe 80, and you are under the chronic stress, and that is not serving us. So let's look at what's happening in our body when we are under the stress. So the hormone cortisol, which is a steroid hormone made out of the cholesterol in the adrenals, which is the gland sitting above our kidneys, will produce cortisol. And cortisol is going to help us in the stressful situation. So for example, now when I'm doing the presentation here for you, I want to be completely alert and I don't have time to eat. So Cortisol is going to increase the blood glucose levels so that I can operate, so that I have enough energy and everything in my body is functioning as it is. It's also going to heighten my memory and attention, because when we are in the fight and flight, we are focusing on the external environment. So my hearing and all the senses are heightened. My blood pressure is also going to go up, because all that oxygen needs to go to the head, to the top of the head, to the arms, in case I'm going to run away from the tiger. I will not feel any pain at this moment because the sensitivity of the pain is decreased, and my serotonin levels are going to be down. So you might associate serotonin being a happy hormone, but serotonin has many other functions. And one of them is, for example, the motility of the intestine. So it basically helps us to go to the toilet, eliminate the stool. So serotonin is helping us to eliminate constipation. So here you can already see the connection of the chronic stress and constipation due to a low serotonin levels. And also, serotonin is a precursor to melatonin, the sleeping hormone. So if you are under chronic stress, you don't have serotonin, and therefore in the night, when the darkness should hit the retina and transform the serotonin into melatonin, it's not happening for you, and you cannot have deep, profound, relaxing sleep. Also, when you are under stress, your immune system is completely suppressed. So any wounds or eczemas or anything, rosacea that you have on your face, it cannot heal because the immune system is just not repairing. But don't forget that we also have the silent inflammation in our arteries, in our gut, irritable bowel syndrome, or any other autoimmune disease, when your own cells are attacking the body because they are completely confused on what they should do and what they shouldn't. So now you know that acute stress is actually good for us when we expose ourselves only temporarily to the stress, because then we are building the resilience. So for example, intermittent fasting can be pretty good because you are restricting yourself from the food and therefore creating the stress, and your body has to adapt to this dangerous situation and learn to be a hybrid car, therefore to switch in between using the glucose and using the ketones. So using other sources of the energy and turn it in the process of gluconeogenesis, glucose, new genesis, to create new glucose from other sources so that you have constantly the energy. Or running the sprints, high intensity interval training. So 7 minutes of the HIIT is much more beneficial than, for example, walking 3 hours in the forest or going for 1 hour run. So you should expose yourself to new challenges, getting out of the comfort zone so that you build the resilience. However, chronic stress, it's not serving us. So if you know that driving to work or having annoying boss or doing the job that you actually don't like, or living in a household with somebody who doesn't fulfill you anymore, or being surrounded by negative friends that are constantly criticizing you and judging you, then maybe it's good to take the action. And I could cut this presentation just by telling you, get rid of the friends, get divorced, change the job, and instead of driving, cycle. But that would be way too easy and it wouldn't be sustainable. So we dive into what we can actually do to improve our mindset and connect it with the body. Because by now, you know that there is a connection between the body and the mind, because we said that the brain takes the pictures. So we operate on two things: the pictures that we make in our head and the words that we say to ourselves. So if you are talking to yourself negatively, if you are criticizing yourself, if you don't love yourself, you are actually causing even emotional pain and the inflammation in your body. So the best is to catch yourself when you are thinking the negative thoughts and shift it into positive. One of my mentors always says, everything is an advantage. So even in the business or even in the life, if you look around yourself, you can find positive things. So for example, today it's very hot and I can say, well, it's so hot, I cannot go even for a run. But I can turn it into something, into advantage. So I can say, wow, it's beautiful outside today. So I am going to do the washing, dry it outside and take advantage of this beautiful weather. And if it starts raining, I can say, wow, this is actually advantage because I don't have to water the garden and I will not feel pity of not going outside. And instead I can edit the videos and post them on YouTube, for example. Or I open the fridge and there is no food. So I could be complaining that there is no food, I have nothing to eat, but I can turn it into advantage. I can say, wow, this is a perfect day for intermittent fasting because I'm not going to be bothered by any food or having these temptations. On the other hand, if I open the fridge and it's going to be full of food that I bought in the market and I know it needs to be used, I can again turn it into advantage. I can say, wow, this is actually good. I'm going to listen to some audiobooks and I'm going to chop all the vegetable and do the meal preparations for 3 to 4 days or even fill the freezer. And then I will not have to cook for additional 3 days. So everything is an advantage. What's the most important is the refractory period, how quickly you can recover from the stress, because it's not possible to move away from the stress. The only thing that we can change is how we perceive it. So now we can do a breathing technique that helps when you feel imbalanced. And this is alternative nostril breathing. So we are going to use the right hand. So with the right thumb, you cover the right nostril and you inhale through the left nostril and then you close it with your ring finger. Exhale through the right nostril. Then inhale through the right nostril, close with the thumb, and exhale through the left nostril. And you can try, if you inhale through the left nostril, was it easy? Was it floating easily? And if you were inhaling through the right nostril, how was it for you? Because this is balancing the yin and yang, the masculine and feminine energy. So if it was easy for you to inhale through the left nostril, it's the feminine part. So this one might be dominant or nicely balanced. And if you had a difficulty to inhale through the right, maybe your masculine part is suppressed. On the other hand, if, for example, now I do this presentation or I need to lead something important, the masculine part in me will be awakened. So it's going to be much easier for me to inhale through the right. And maybe the left one, the feminine, will be more difficult. Actually, in this moment, I'm quite relaxed. Therefore, my left part, my feminine, is floating nicely. And actually, the masculine is slightly blocked. Good for me in this moment. So we do it together now for about 1 minute so that you can practice. So find a comfortable position. You can close your eyes and with the right thumb, you cover the right nostril. Inhale through the left, close. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, close. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left on a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Close and exhale through the right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. And then you can keep your eyes closed. You can place your hands on your knees and inhale through both nostrils. Steady, slow, deep inhale. And exhale through the mouth. Once more, inhale. And exhale through the mouth. And then you can slowly open your eyes and observe the sensations that you have in your body. Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel that you can fill out your lungs easily? Do you feel any tingling sensation in your face? So this was actually the breathing technique. And then you can use visualization. So visualization is when you close your eyes and you imagine yourself walking in a beautiful nature. It might be a beach, and you can even hear and smell the breeze coming from the seaside. And you can walk and feel your feet touching the sand, maybe even the water, washing your hands, feeling the sensation of the coolness. So that's what you can do anytime, anywhere. And visualization is powerful. And you can even use it, for example, when you are doing the sport. So if you go for a run and you don't feel motivated, you can visualize yourself running a marathon or, sprinting into the finishing line, and you will see that it's much easier. The third relieving method that you can use is priming. And this is actually by my favorite mentor, Tony Robbins. And priming is about changing the posture. So it's like the Superman, superhero pose. When you open your chest. And what can also help you, for example, when you are heartbroken and you went through some difficult situation, or you feel anxious and stressed, like the monkeys, when they are hitting the thymus, the organ thymus that is in between the rib cage. And you can inhale and exhale, and then you feel the relief. And also what you can do is practicing the attitude of gratitude, just reminding yourself what amazing steps you have already went through and how far you went, because we never want to compare ourselves to somebody else. We are comparing ourselves only to us. So what we were yesterday and what we are today, did we make any tiny micro progress towards our dreams? Fantastic. Yeah. And just being grateful, you can be grateful for anything, for the beautiful house you live in, for the environment, for your friends, for your children. I really like one beautiful quote, and it's, I was complaining about not having a shoes until I met a man without legs. So this is the gratitude. Let's be grateful for what we have today, because we might not have it tomorrow. And everything is about acceptance. I like my favorite book, which is The Alchemist from Paulo Coelho. And it says, follow your dreams, because if you really want something, the universe is going to conspire in helping you to achieve it. But there needs to be a patience. It doesn't happen immediately. There might be detours. The important thing is you are following your northern star and get to your destination when the right time comes. So we try the next technique, and that is emotional freedom technique. So the first thing in this technique is to recognize that you are stressed, or recognize that you have some problem. And we will be tapping into different meridians. So first you are starting on the karate chop. And you recognize the stress. So I might say that, for example, I feel slightly stressed on the scale from 1 to 10, maybe 3. about this presentation that I'm doing. So that's what I recognize where I am stressed. Then we start tapping on the top of the head. Then we'll be tapping in between the eyebrows, on the side of the eyes, under eyes, under the nose, on the top of the chin, on the start of the collarbone, and then under the arm. So I do this because my breast is not so big. If you have big breast, maybe you want to do it this way. Yeah? So just underarm. So you can close your eyes and you can just listen to my voice. And I will be repeating the phrase, I refuse to stress myself about things I cannot control or change. And you can silently repeating with myself, or you can say it loud, whatever suits you. So we start on the top of the head. I refuse to stress myself about things I cannot control or change. In between the eyebrows. I refuse to stress myself about things I cannot control or change. Outside of the eyes. I refuse to stress myself about things I cannot control or change. Under the eyes. I refuse to stress myself about things that I cannot control or change. Under the nose. I refuse to stress myself about things I cannot control or change. On the chin. I refuse to stress myself about things I cannot control or change. On the collarbone. I refuse to stress myself about things I cannot control or change. Underarm. I refuse to stress myself about things I cannot control or change. Top of the head. I refuse to stress myself about things I cannot control or change. And then you can still keep your eyes closed. Place the hands on your lap and take a long, deep inhale. And exhale through the mouth, letting go. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, let go. Last time, inhale through the nose. And exhale, let go. And then you can slowly open your eyes. And observe the sensations that you have. Again, maybe some tingling or feeling of inner peace coming. And this all depends where you are starting on the scale. So if you are very stressed, you were, for example, number 8, 9, or 10 on the scale, you might need to do it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And each time after the cycle is finished, just evaluate again. Okay, now I feel much better. So when I was starting, I was level 3 and now I'm level 1. I don't feel stressed at all.